Our region's business, improving our economy, creating jobs, and strengthening communities. Innovation, collaboration, transformation, and the people making it happen. Join us as we take a closer look at our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, a big leap for our region's startup scene, but with plenty of hill left to climb. The dollars and cents of reinventing the state system of higher education. Tips on taking your health care with you when you travel this summer. And just in time for Juneteenth, a new initiative to deliver a growing economy for everyone who lives here. First, our region's startup ecosystem has been a generation in the making. Now there's increasing evidence that all the hard work is paying off. The Global Entrepreneurship Network and an organization called Startup Genome rank our region 13th on the list of the top 100 emerging ecosystems worldwide. That's a big improvement from last year when our region ranked 23rd. The co-founders of Gecko Robotics have experienced the change. The 10-year-old company builds wall-climbing robots and enterprise software to maintain and protect essential infrastructure, and it recently expanded into new offices in Nova Place on Pittsburgh's North Shore. I caught up recently with CEO Jake Lucerian.
Now we're starting to see robotics creep into a bunch of different companies and industries that realize that physical things are actually important, even though they're hard and they're expensive. But now it is beyond self-driving cars. What else can robotics do to change the world around us?
Is the ecosystem better? Is the environment more supportive than it was, obviously, 10 years ago when you started?
It's trending in a good direction, but it's not happening anywhere close to as fast as it should be. And was able to talk to Mayor Gainey recently with the grand opening of Gecko a bit about this, as well as other ways to make robotics the identity of Pittsburgh. And if we as a city identify and completely lean into that being our thing, we have the best chance of attracting the best VCs, the best entrepreneurs and founders, the best talent to ensure that we're not building something for short-term, building it for the long term. But it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort.
What is it about the region that makes it a good place, or hopefully a great place, to be building a business like Gecko?
There's a lot of great talent that still believes in the importance of working really hard to build things. And so I think Pittsburgh has that going for it, as well as some pretty incredibly smart people. But we just need to accelerate how many smart people come here and how many companies they have options to come work at. So those are really important things to improving and continue to lean into here.
Mark Anthony Thomas is here to put into perspective our region's emergence as a startup ecosystem. He's president of the Pittsburgh Regional Alliance, an affiliate of the Allegheny Conference, which co-produces this program. And welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, so great report on an improved ranking on this list. A big leap, really, year over year. What's behind that?
So first, exits. We've been very successful over the last few years, and that is reflected in just obviously a lot of just effort to really get our companies to that next level. The second, we've really done a good job of trying to understand what our full ecosystem is and making sure that data is reflected in how Startup Genome and others rank us. And so that's allowed us to have a better sense of where we actually rank.
That's interesting. So part of it is how we sell ourselves, and part of it is the fundamentals of what we're selling.
100%.
You talk about exits. So that's like IPOs. That's where a startup finally sells to the big strategic buyer?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I think the most high-profile one is probably Duolingo.
Okay. Yeah, homegrown company in a language app that went public in a big way, which was really an exciting move.
Yeah.
You can't count on that every year, however, to stay way up on these lists.
No, we can't. And I think what we're trying to make sure, and you see efforts like the Build Back Better challenge, is that we have a continuum of great companies that are getting to that next level. And that takes all of us, that takes government, that takes the private sector, and obviously at the center it takes great entrepreneurs who are bringing that next generation of businesses to that level.
It also takes money, and as Jake mentioned when we were listening to him, that still is a little bit of a squeeze around here.
It is. I think the good thing about the Startup Genome partnership is in addition to us ranking where we stand, we also see where there are opportunities for improvement, right? And so the investment issue has always been a challenge in Pittsburgh, and we get a sense of now where we compare to other ecosystems that are in our range. Obviously, it's hard to compete with Silicon Valley and New York and London, the big markets, but it is an area that I think if you are an investor and you're looking for a market with great technology, great entrepreneurs, we clearly are a place that you can be investing in.
So start with the buzz, and then hopefully the buzz helps draw some new money into the region that we haven't been able to capture before.
100%. And you are seeing just a surge in new funds, new investments. We're getting a share of that, but we want people who are funding deep technologies, life sciences, all the things that we're great at, automation, advanced manufacturing, to be looking at our market for great ideas.
Yeah, speaking of automation, you were just out in Detroit, making that case. What did you find there when you went to the big trade show?
Well, so this was the first time they've had it in a while. Yeah. And what was great when we partnered with the Pittsburgh Robotics Network and Innovate PGH, we were able to then take a delegation to really promote Pittsburgh. We took a few startups who actually wanted to really showcase their technologies, but also represent the region. And we're able to just be immersed in everything from venture capitalists to big companies who are looking at new markets, who are looking at new technologies, and we wanted to make sure we're front and center there.
Yeah, so what did you find? Was there interest? Was there surprise? Was there curiosity? What was the temperature?
So there were three types of people. There were those who knew there was something happening in Pittsburgh, who were excited to see how much was actually happening. The second were people who were already sold and who were just happy to see us there, and who actually wanted to get more engaged in the ecosystem. And the third were actual companies and founders from here who were just happy to see us marketing and representing the region outside of Pittsburgh, which is really what we're best positioned to do.
Well, and hopefully see a lot more of that. Only a few seconds left, but do you think we'll see some investment coming out of that kind of thing?
We will, and we'll also see more activity. I think now that things are opening back up, we can finally be back on the road. We're always looking for collaboration to market, and so I'm never been more excited to do the work that we're set up to do.
All right, well, that's exciting to hear. Mark Anthony Thomas from the Pittsburgh Regional Alliance. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Next up, a new initiative to make sure that everybody gets a chance to benefit from our region's improving economy. Please stay with us.